I'm Angel, and this is an honest criticism of Shadow of the Erdtree. First of all, I love Elden Ring. I ate this fucking game up when it first came out. Then my PlayStation 4 died, I got a PlayStation 5, and I did not play it until a month before the DLC was released. So I played it. I did, again, found everything because I love exploring and I love getting a bunch of items and a bunch of shit. And I got everything with the exception of the final boss before entering the DLC. And I did that within a week. Thankfully, I was out of work at the moment. Not that I'm out of a job, that's like I was in break. Alright, so for most part of the DLC, to me, it was super fun. And if you love Elden Ring, you'll love this DLC. Though I feel like it doesn't really break any new ground, it was still good because it's just more of what we love. It does do some new things, but I don't think it's anything super innovative. Erdtree fragments were amazing, a really amazing way to scale the DLC progression. And I feel that the Erdtree fragments is almost from software testing waters for a new progression system. One where you don't have to think too much about leveling up your weapons, just making your character all around better. And I think that's pretty cool. I actually enjoyed it. I like the idea of exploring, finding a bunch of Erdtree fragments, and then steamrolling over bosses. To me, that is awesome. The new weapon types were cool, but I wish we had gotten more for each one. It feels like almost we had 9 new weapon types, and almost each one of the new weapon types got 2 new weapons. The thrusting shields were really good, we got 2 of them. Great katanas were really cool, we got only 3 of them. The light great swords were really cool. I think we got only 2 of them as well. And one of them is a dual weapon. So we did get a bunch of other weapons. But from the new ones, with the exception of the perfumer bottles, those make sense because those are mostly just elemental based. So we got one for every element basically. So that was cool. But I wish we had gotten more. Again, for the martial arts, we only got 2 as well. Yeah. The throwing weapons were amazing. Throwing daggers, we only got 1 by the way. The throwing weapons were amazing. They're decently ranged attacks that don't consume any resource. And the perfumer bottles, god damn it, what the fuck are words? The perfumer bottles that we also got were really good because they're fast AoE attacks that don't consume any resources. And I also feel that those 2 are from software testing waters for the next game. Maybe a game where you can do more of that. That would be fun. I like the idea of having a ranged option without having to worry about running out of ammo. I enjoy that. Exploration was fun for the most part. The bosses were excellent, except for the last one. He was cool, it's just I feel he's still a bit overclocked. My favorite boss was actually the Lord of the Frenzied Flame, because I feel the whole fight was extremely balanced and extremely fair. And the lore behind it, to me, it was really fun as well. As opposed to Radon, the final boss of the DLC, that you literally gotta wait around 30 seconds of dodging just to get one hit in. Unless you decide to cheese him, of course. And if you do decide to cheese him, that's fine to me. Use every single tool the game has to offer you. Do whatever you want, except cheating and using exploits. But to me, Ashes, Summons, Bleed, Overleveling, Shield and Poke, I don't care as long as you're enjoying yourself. I'm not a gatekeeper. You bought the game. You play however the fuck you want. That's what I do. Alright, so let's get down to my biggest issues with the DLC. There's too many cryptic as fuck NPC quests and areas. There's an area you have to go down a hole to get to. I almost beat the whole DLC before finding it because I wanted to find how the fuck to get to that side of the fucking map. But there was nothing on the map or the area pointing to it and it was hidden between two collapsed buildings. I guess it's sort of fine because that's on me for not being more thorough with my search. Still, I would have liked for the area to give you a hint that there was a hole there. There's a really big hole and you see something down, but these games have taught me that if there's a big hole and you can see at the bottom, there's probably a way to get down there from somewhere else, not from the same fucking area. But the NPC quest. So many things you can do to miss out on them. I missed out on one encounter and one weapon to help because I didn't help on an NPC against another because the fucking summon sign never appeared to me. Maybe I went too far in a quest, maybe I didn't talk to someone when I had to. I checked the guide and apparently I did everything as expected to trigger it, but it never did. Granted, I checked the guide a week ago when the game came out because I just finished the game like in 3 days after it came out. Because like I was just fucking glued to the TV. So maybe it has been updated. But again, like I said, mostly it's a nitpick because the guides online tend to be good. But plus it incentivizes replayability, which is something that I understand a lot of people like. Because there's actually some NPC quests you have to do more than once. Well, not more than once. You have to do twice to get different rewards. You can't get all rewards on one playthrough. You have to do other playthroughs to get all rewards. And like I said, I understand that to some people that's fun. I'd rather get everything on one playthrough, but that's just me. However, what I can't forgive is that there are too many areas that feel empty. There's a Dragon Mountain with 4 boss fights and nothing else. A beautiful blue coast with a few field bosses and a couple of items and nothing else. A red flowered area of death with a few field bosses, a couple of items, and 1 mini dungeon. And nothing else. Notice a pattern here? All those areas that I just mentioned are fucking huge. They are really fucking big and open. But there's barely anything in there. Some areas are densely packed with field bosses, mini dungeons, things to collect, and places to explore. And those are great. But other areas I feel are barren. There are 2 large areas that look very alien and strange. They have eerie ambient music, full of finger monuments, and I thought, oh shit, the area is drawing me to the center, because there's a monument in the center. And I'm thinking there has to be a boss fight in there. Oh, I can't wait. And I approach it, and even the America statue activated to resurrect me if I died. And I'm like, yeah, there's a boss fight. I get there. Nope, nothing. Just an item you can get once you start a quest. And that's it. The rest of the area is packed with enemies. But that's all you can do there. There's no field bosses, no items to collect, no mini dungeons. And these are 2 really big areas in the map. Like, you can be riding on Torrent from one side of the area to the end of that same area. It's gonna take you about 2 minutes riding on Torrent, and Torrent goes fast, so that's pretty big. But there's just enemies there. There are collectibles, but those are the ones that respawn because those are the ones that you use for crafting. Besides that, nothing else. Hell, one area has only 2 places to explore. A church and a legacy dungeon. That includes my favorite boss. The area is fucking huge as well. But that's it. Really big area. Rats. A couple of these new priest enemies that shoot lines at you. And some new enemies that the game hypes them up. They add to the area's atmosphere because it's like a horror section. Really big horror section. The exception is that it's not that bad once you find out you can parry them and kill them easily after parrying them. I don't know if they respawn or not. I haven't checked. So I think that's lame. The whole area, really big, horror theme. You have to sneak around. But if you learn you can parry them, and their parry window is pretty damn forgiving. I did it on my first try, and I'm not a player that does parrying that much. I prefer to dodge. So the area is basically empty after that. And they hype you up. It's like, oh, they can't be killed. Oh, if they see you, you're gonna die. Your only chance is to run away. Even the horse doesn't want to appear. You know, the torrent is too scared to be summoned. It's like, ooh, that's cool. It's an actual horror section. But then you parry their attacks, and then they die. And then Bob's your uncle. Like, it's disappointing. It's actually, to me, it's very disappointing. Again, don't get me wrong. I love the DLC, but I don't think it's worth $40. I don't think it's worth the $40 asking price. Maybe 30? Maybe 30. Definitely 20. Definitely 20. It took me around 33 hours to get almost everything that I could and beat every single boss that I could without having to go into New Game Plus to redo some quests. Which, again, I'm not like the biggest fan of doing that. I like to like have one playthrough and that's it. I rarely ever replay games. During my quest, the build that I had on was 2 Iron Grey Swords and I jumped attack to win. I jumped attacked everything to death alongside my Mimic tier. And that's all I used. I think Flame grant me strength to buff me up. And that's it. Yep, and that's it. No summons, because again, I don't play online because I'm not willing to pay Sony money monthly just to be able to play games online. Fuck them. Mesmer killed me 3 times. He was the boss that gave me the most issues until I got to the last one, Rodon, which killed me too many times to count. But even so, I defeated him the same day I found him. Yeah. I was trying to kill him, he kept killing me, got to the second phase, way worse, and I said, you know what, let me go cook. I cooked, made food for my whole family, sat down to eat, and then about an hour later, I had him killed. And that was it. I'll give this DLC a 7 out of 10. That's my rating for this DLC. It's good. It's good. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's the greatest DLC they have ever made. It's really good. I still think the Dark Souls 3 DLC and the Old Hunters DLC is way better than this one. To be quite honest. This one's better, definitely better than the Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 DLCs, like, by a long shot. I don't know, I'm a bit disappointed. Because I was just very hyped. Maybe that's on me. Or maybe that's on the game for not delivering. Again, way too many fucking empty areas. That's it for me. Here it is, your moment of zen.
Curse you, Baal! I hereby vow you will rue this day. Behold, a true Drake warrior, and I, Egon. Your fears made flesh. Solid of scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with holes your rotten hide. With a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being.